Clubhouse.
Jill, ask them what they think about supervillain.
That sounds better to me. More exciting.
Do you prefer saving America? How about saving the world?
Nope. It's saving America.
Welcome back to Podcast V, Pod Clubhouse's continuing coverage of Amazon's The Boys. This episode will be for the third episode of the fifth season of The Boys, called Every One of You Sons of Bitches. I guess that's how you would say that, right? It sounds kind of Western, right?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
I'm Paul, and I'm joined here with my friend 3 hours away, Kat. How are you doing today, Kat?
Good. Good to be back talking about this episode that packed a real punch, pun intended.
Yeah, like several more punches than I I thought they were going to punch.
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to right up front just congratulate you on the prediction that the next evolution of Homelander's obsession would become making himself godlike.
Yeah, I know. I was really excited because I know we're a few episodes behind, and I swear, like, I didn't look ahead or anything like that. So I was really proud because we've done a lot of predictions, and maybe, I don't know if I've ever gotten one, but like this one was like, oh my God, that's so true. I was right. It came true. Yeah, so that was pretty good. And I got like a version of like the original like Soldier Boy straight, thing as well, but not quite like how it's panned out with the V1 that's introduced in this episode. But yeah, the God complex was I was very proud.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any other way to interpret it. I mean, he says it, and Stillwell appears as an angel telling him that's the way to go, even though it's completely in his head. We were talking about last episode that Homelander has had these moments of breaking with reality and visions and stuff like that. And this is probably the wildest so far.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I don't know why, I guess I was just thinking, like, is someone putting these, like, is there a hologram or something where they're, like, feeding this as a sage, feeding this into him? But no, it's just him being delusional, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And, like, what he wants to hear, because every vision, like, the mirror thing didn't work, like, when he was talking to himself last season. Mm-hmm. And, like, I think it's just trying to find these different avenues to feed that, like, empty thing, that feeling that he's trying to find of, like, feeling complete or whatever, but... it's just funny that he's like, I'll become God and then everyone will love me.
And he will live forever.
Yeah. I actually really love that this is happening in the third episode where, like, this is, I guess, the rest of the season. It's not only taking down Homelander with the virus, which I thought, like, oh, that's going to be too easy. So I do like this new added element they've brought in.
You're right. I mean, there were hurdles, definitely, with delivering the virus. We were wondering if it could be weaponized or whatever, and that whole plot is now on pretty thin ice. Yeah. But then they throw in this V1 thing that they couldn't account for. So if I understand, it's like he wants to expose himself to the V1 to become the godlike character, the godlike person, and even better, outdo his dad.
Yes. Yeah, because he did get this... he was already getting a little, like, when they introduced Soldier Boy, as a hero or whatever, and Soldier Boy is just a better poster boy and can take it in stride. He doesn't, I get a sense, like, yeah, he probably likes the limelight, but he doesn't need it, like, he just is like, okay, yeah, but he's going to take the spoils from it, but doesn't really, like, he doesn't care if people like him or not like Homelander. And then when Homelander was seeing all the attention and the flat, he was like, oh no. And then that's when he, like, was like, he's my dad. like me too. And I was like, oh my God.
He couldn't just let him have a single moment. Because that was the whole point of the press conference was to exonerate him. And Homelander couldn't leave it alone. It had to be the center of attention. The way that Sage explains the fact that Soldier Boy's V1 did not translate to Homelander, and Homelander was made using what they called just regular V.
Yeah, generic V.
Generic V. Do you suppose that inherited flaw when, up until this moment, except for the gray pubes, I suppose, he thought he was as close to perfect as you could get, and now he's learned actually they could have done better, but they didn't. I mean, what kind of fallout do you think there might be just from that kind of realization?
They hadn't really talked about like the aging part, and I think it's only like now. I think I think with the virus and also just seeing his end, I guess it's sort of catching up to him, you know, when like Soldier Boy is like, oh, your gray pubes or whatever, and that I'm gonna live forever, you know, like he was kind of, and I don't think there's gonna be a fallout for like the people that created him, but I think it's gonna be something. I think it's given him a new purpose, because he was going wacko, you know, like just the normal, like if they had continuing doing their mission and like, you know, just doing the Starlighter thing, like he was really running out of stuff to kind of do besides going ballistic. So I think this really, while this is not the greatest purpose and for everybody else, I do think that now he feels like, okay, cool, I can like unlock this last thing and then I'll be truly happy, because this really is like the last straw.
Well, except for beating the ever-loving shit out of Ryan.
Yeah.
After the Stillwell scene, he seemed like a different guy. Like the weight had lifted off his shoulders, you know. He just, well, all we're going to have to do is just dedicate the entire company to finding V1, recreating V1. He's openly drinking jugs of milk, bathing, and did you catch that it was breast milk from a NICU?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's pretty vile.
Yeah.
Even for him.
So we kind of learned that Soldier Boy is invincible, right? Like he is.
Seems that way.
Yeah. So you would think like on his end, you know, even Homelander's still trying to recruit, like, oh, help me get this V and then I'll let you do that. But I was, in my mind, I was thinking like, why would Soldier Boy want to even like where he's like, I just like wait for Homelander to die, or, you know, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like from his perspective, like, why would you want to help Homelander get also become invincible, and then like that would be his equal, and then he could really kill, you know, he could kill Soldier Boy or whatever, or I don't know, I guess they can't kill each other, right? But I wonder if he's just thinking like, do I want this guy around for, even if he's like quote unquote son, but I don't think he really cares about that part.
It might be that he has a longer game. You know, he's playing for survival, obviously, right now. He doesn't want to go back into deep freeze. He doesn't have some sort of power that'll let him just like fly out of there at Mach 5 or whatever.
He still has limitations, I guess.
Yeah, well, the nature of his powers and the fact, and that, you know, they haven't really exposed or re-exposed us to the weird power that he has, kind of the explosive thing that he gets when he gets overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. But you know, he's in on this V1 discussion to some extent. And what if part of his game is to basically do whatever he can to take it out of circulation? If it is there, then no one else gets it. Mm-hmm. And now he's kind of got that connection with Firecracker, who's letting a few things purposefully slip about what she thinks is going on inside Homelander's head. Like Soldier Boy had kind of misread Homelander's bravado, and she could read it as actually he's actually just scared of you and scared that he'll never be as good as you.
Yeah, and how natural it comes, like everything. Mm-hmm. Even being asleep for like whatever, how long he was, and he's just like stepped into this world and is still like badass. So yeah, I'm curious how he's gonna play that. But I was just thinking like, why would you want to create another, especially this person like Homelander? He even says he's like, he's weird, you know, it's not a compliment that he wants to be me, or that he likes me or whatever. So I was just thinking, why would you want to have that person there forever, unless it is what you say, like he maybe has it in the back of him, like, let me help him, like I can. He sent me on a mission once to go get this virus that he knew would kill me. I can knowingly go and try find this and maybe just like destroy it before he gets it or something.
Maybe. We haven't seen enough of Soldier Boy to know if he's like a think 2 steps ahead kind of guy.
Yeah, because they've kind of alluded that he's not really, he's just kind of like going, you know, he's like a simple man. Like,
yeah. Well, and they outline his extremely conservative values at just about every chance they get. We were talking about in the previous podcast about whether or not V is corrupting, or if you become corrupted after everyone knows your superpowers. And he has V1, and he's kind of an asshole, but he's not like the worst person ever. you could probably have a decent conversation with him for a few minutes before he turned on some kind of thing that you're like, wow. And did you get the Sherry Lewis references?
No, I didn't. I don't know that one.
If it's the Sherry Lewis that I know of, it's extremely weird because Sherry Lewis was a puppeteer and her puppet's name was Lamb Chop. And it was
that Sherry Lewis. Oh,
that's the only one I know. Is there another one?
I don't know. I didn't look it up, but I was just assuming it was some, I didn't know if it was fictional or real, but I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
If it is hilarious because it's just so odd,
Yeah.
Like,
and he
really?
was so proud. He kept saying it over and over again. Like,
yes. Sherry Lewis. Oh my gosh.
My God. Yeah. My question is too about V1 is, because obviously they say how gruesome it was and how Vought was doing those experiments to like see, like thousands of people, and it was only like 5 that made it, which is Soldier Boy is one of them, and Stormfront and the other ones.
And don't skip the part where it originated in a Nazi concentration camp.
Nazi concentration camp. But I was thinking, do we know? Like, we don't know that V1 would actually, because if there was thousands of people, like if the ratio is like, 5 made it out of like 6,000 or I don't know, whatever it was, how does he know that it's even going to work on him or that it would, like, he would die from it? Like, if he can't handle it. I guess if he already is soup, it would be okay. But like, even Annie was like, because Huey told her like, oh, now you can have V1, and you'll be okay. And she's like, yeah, but what if I grow like 6 dicks or something like that? So it's
become
still
a koosh ball of dicks.
Yeah. So it's not like I was thinking like, I bet Frenchie's thinking the same thing for Kimiko, but I was like, do they know? Like, it's not guaranteed that like they take this and then it works, unless they're thinking they'll study it and genetically engineer, and then figure out like the thing to just make them more soup. But I'm like, I don't know about that.
Wouldn't that be like the biggest...
The way he dies.
Well, yeah, the biggest ironic twist is that none of this stuff actually mattered except for it drove him to the point of taking V1 himself, and maybe it kills him or maybe it just depowers him, like cancels out his regular V. So that would be pretty ironic if he just does it to himself.
Yeah, I do feel like he seems like he's just really wants it. So, and he doesn't even know what it is either. So I'm just like, how you're going to take this thing and it could kill you, but maybe, that could be a fitting end too, but I do still think that someone needs to kill him. I don't know who it will be, but, that would be hilarious. So if he takes it and then it's just like, he kind of, maybe finds Nirvana, and then just blows up or something.
Speaking of V1, we were wondering what was going to happen with Soldier Boy, whether he was going to just run off or what, but maybe he was pretty disoriented in that bag. And the emergency people were like, oh shit, he's alive.
Yeah.
And so he'd given a little time to recover. I guess I was okay with the time jump because you could fill it in your mind what happened in between there. But I was kind of surprised to learn at this late date that V1 was a thing. It makes sense in a way that there would be different iterations of V because of the way they distributed it eventually to the parents that volunteered their children and stuff. It had to get to that point. But it seems very late in the series to learn, actually, there's this strain of V that made Soldier Boy and Stormfront and a few others nearly invincible. I wonder why she wasn't quite as invincible.
Well, what's the one that's like you can be immortal, but like you can still die, right? Like you can still be killed.
It depends on your mythology, like vampires, for instance, are immortal except if you kill them.
Yeah, like Superman can die, but he's going to be immortal, right? Like So I can go with that. I guess they haven't said he's invincible. It's just like he would be immortal.
Okay, that's a good distinction. I think that's a good distinction to look at.
And I think I was just putting, because I was thinking immortal means invincible, but it's not actually. That's a big distinction. So,
it's like if something doesn't kill you, your body won't die.
Yes, yeah. And right now, Homelander is dying. All the regular soups are going to age and follow the normal path. So I think he was also like kind of facing that. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you ever read comics at all, ever? Mm-mm. No? There was a comic that came out years and years ago now called Kingdom Come. And there were two things that made it kind of interesting. One, it was painted rather than drawn. And so all of the panels and the cover and everything were painted from like models. So it took forever, to make this thing. The artist's name is Alex Ross. And the second thing that was kind of cool was that it was kind of a time jump in the DC universe, so that the heroes that we knew, like Batman, Superman, etc., were there, but they were old. For instance, like Batman had so many breaks and loss of cartilage and all kinds of things that he was in a permanent neck brace, like a head stabilizer, like where they have the halo that holds your head in place. That's what he had at all times. He couldn't be Batman. He just had to be Bruce Wayne because there was no way out of it. But Superman had like gray hair, and it was kind of interesting to see that kind of concept played out as like, well, what happens when these people age? We show them at their prime, but is it reasonable to think that their prime lasts forever? With Jensen Ackles, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess we could assume like Homelander would probably be in his state for longer than probably a normal person, but eventually it's still going to catch up to him.
I think that's fair.
Because that's how I think the other superheroes are. Like they kind of like, it's just like going to age slowly, but they're still going to age.
Something about the superpowers in this universe seems to convey a baseline amount of like strength and durability increased over a normal human. Like Huey later on, I think, was able to hold his own with Maverick because Maverick was a kid.
Yeah.
But when Maverick got really mad, he did throw him and break the wall.
Yeah.
And Huey could never do,
yeah,
do
no.
that.
Yeah. But I guess the question is, did Soldier Boy know he was immortal? Because, he did wake up those 60 years. So I guess that would account for like, oh, he hasn't aged. But I guess they were thinking he would have probably aged, right? Like in the cryo thing or something.
Aged slowly, maybe.
It sounded like he was surprised to learn that was it. I guess they all thought it was the same V. Like it really wasn't. Right. I guess it was just like a very well buried secret or whatever.
Yeah, so well that they thought rolling it out 6 episodes before the end of the whole thing was okay. In ordinary TV shows, I really hate that sort of like last second.
Me too, because it just feels like, oh, did you know what you were doing, or are you just throwing this in?
Yeah.
But this one, I don't mind it that much, actually.
I'll agree right now. But I'm one of those people that watched the 8th season of Game of Thrones and was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not as mad as the rest of you. I wish it had taken a longer series of episodes, but I still get what you were trying to do.
Yeah, I'm not mad at the ending of Game of Thrones. I'm just mad that they rushed it.
Yes. Because
I think it was always going to come, like the storyline makes sense. It just felt rushed.
She was always gonna burn King's Landing.
Yeah, like there's a difference between not liking what your character does and saying it's bad, like that's like you got to separate that.
Yeah.
But I always thought that made sense. It just felt so like quick compared to like we were talking about the other episode where it took you 3 seasons to get to one side or whatever. Right. And then when you're starting to rush it, I get it because it could be a little boring. You've already seen it a few times. The audience can get it and maybe you do it a little bit faster, but it just was like too bad. But in this one, I don't know, like, I guess it does feel a little like they held on to that, but I don't know. I kind of like it because it does make sense, because why would they have, it was like the originals kind of thing. And, it came back sort of with Soldier Boy. I don't know. I kind of like it.
Well, okay. Yeah, without Stan leading Vought anymore, then that sort of historical aspect to it, and the lab of people that created Homelander all dead, then maybe they call the institutional knowledge of it, since it was all redacted files, and no company in the world would want a linkage back to testing at Dachau.
Yeah.
So it would only have to be kind of like oral history.
Yeah. And I was also thinking like the new version of V, like I think it did a good enough job where they're like they didn't have to go back to the V1. It wasn't something where like, oh, this isn't working and like, oh, well, do we have anything else? I feel like it was good enough to make these other soups that they were like no one really cared,
Mm-hmm. So related to the V1 discovery, what happens back in the Erie, Pennsylvania elementary school / deadly virus lab. With Samir and Zoe changes the game quite a bit. Frenchie, I don't think is a chemist on the same level as Samir, right?
Yeah, no.
He's like a bomb maker and he can make drugs and stuff. But unless there's some really good notes and the right stuff not ruined, then I don't know if Frenchie has a real shot at reproducing it. Then does it become more of a, well, we have to find V1 before they do because they can't have it kind of situation?
Yeah, I think, I mean, the bigger issue is they know that Homelander's on the hunt for it. So I think it now just becomes that. Like, I think they know that they can at least produce a virus that can kill Soup. So I think, like, they're going to hold on to that. Maybe, lure another scientist in down the road. I think that's what they probably are thinking. But, I mean, now the biggest threat is Homelander, because if it was to kill him, and then if he gets the V1 and it works, I mean, they're screwed. So...
Yeah.
But again, like, if he's not invincible, they could still, but I guess they would have to come up with some other thing. And Samir was only one scientist that said, like, oh, this doesn't work. So I don't know if he was saying it was impossible, or if it, like, if someone else would have to come up with something. But it sounds like it wouldn't be easy to find a different thing to go around V1. So they really need to find Homelander first so he doesn't get it.
So that's the real race.
I think so. I think the subplot of the other thing is not going to... They're going to put that on hold.
All right. Zoe wasn't the only child Soup that reemerged in this episode. I guess I didn't remember enough about Zoe and Ryan's relationship to think that they might be covertly texting one another. Or maybe not covertly. Maybe Stan knows everything. But he shows up. So what do you think of Ryan... kind of Terminator, like going through those guys in the Russian safe house? Is this like self-preservation, or is he starting to kind of lean into Homelander tendencies? What do you think?
I thought it was maybe leaning into Homelander tendencies until he, started talking to Billy and the others. And it felt like, oh no, he's still a kid. Like, he definitely has a lot of, his humanity there. I think it's just a little like, oh, I killed a few people here and there. Like, I think the killing part, maybe because it's just happened and that's what he's done to survive. And he told him, he's like, I can't have anyone know I'm here. So maybe he thinks like this is what needs to happen. And like, they were hunting me, so maybe I can kill them. But then when he talks to Billy and he still has like talks about his mom and other people, and like he needs to be alone because he's gonna hurt people. Yeah, I don't think he's full on Homelander. I mean, he even asked Billy, like, do you think I'll be like my dad? So I think he fears it. Speaking
of that discussion in the tavern or pub or whatever you want to call it,
I thought it was fucked up.
Yeah, because Billy was actually very sincere and put things in a way that the kid could understand and motivate him. And to find out that he was still being Butcher, he was still manipulating him and talking him into becoming a suicide bomber at the same time. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That was really messed up of Billy. And then he talked a little bit, remember the question about him killing his dad, and he brought it up like, because Ryan asked him, like, what about your parent or whatever? And he's like, oh, I just killed my dad. Like, right. and he it was a long time coming. So I guess that's why it was like unfinished business for him. So that's like our answer. But yeah, that was really, I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about him asking him to kill himself. Like, was there no other way for him to like throw the virus and like get out of it? Like, there was no like, oh yeah, we'll get you out of there or whatever. It was just like, no, we're all going to die. So like, and Soups are better off like, I mean, the world is better off without Soup. So he's like, we just got to go. I don't know. I thought that was kind of, if the others had heard him talk to Ryan like that, I don't know if they would have agreed with that, or if they would agree with that.
That beatdown at the end, I think it showed us that unless Ryan takes some kind of like superpowered self-defense courses and learns how to fight, like maybe Kimiko knows how to fight, then he has no chance going toe-to-toe with dear old dad. However, when you just brought up Butcher and his dad, it made me think, well, actually, there is a lot of dad killing in this. Like, Huey mercifully killed his own dad after that, the kind of little rampage that he had, losing his mind in the hospital. Mm-hmm. Butcher kills his dad. And then Huey killed Maverick's dad.
Yeah. So then Homelander is he gonna kill his dad, and then Ryan killed their dad? Yeah.
Yeah, because Homelander tried to kill his dad. It didn't take, but he tried.
And now Ryan, when he, recovers from all that, he's going to know where he stands. There's going to be no question with Homelander of like, he doesn't give a shit, so I feel like that will kind of spur him on his next path, like what he does.
The way that Homelander approached Ryan in that convention hall or whatever it was, it seemed more like a manager with kind of a disgruntled employee rather than a father and a son. Yeah, and also it's like you said, he feels light now, Homelander, because he has this path now. Like, he's like, I'm gonna get V1 and I'm gonna become blah blah, and then he even tells Ryan like, oh, you're off the hook now. Like, you don't. Right.
You don't
Who
have
needs a legacy?
Yeah, I'm gonna be my own, immortal legacy. I mean, eventually Ryan would grow, like if that happened and Ryan grew up, like, Ryan's gonna have the daddy issues, so he would come after him. So like eventually, it was always gonna come to a head with them. But it was interesting to be like, oh, you can go away now. Like, I don't need you. And then Ryan's like, what? Like, I don't think it was heartbreaking for Ryan, but I think he just realized like where he stood, like this is.
It's face breaking.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't think he was going to do that. Yeah.
Just, he kept going.
Yeah.
Man, that is, I don't know. That's gutsy storytelling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he still sort of had that abuser's look what you made me do sort of attitude.
He did.
About it.
He like the last big punch, he kind of was like it did seem like maybe he didn't really want to do it, but I think it's not like that made him stop. Like maybe for a split second he's like, oh, like why do I have to do this? But it's like whatever. But then he still did it. So
do you think his intent was to kill him?
No, I don't know, because I mean I think he knows he can't kill him, right? So
if he left him alive but beaten,
maybe it's just like, hey, like so he won't come back and he knows where he stands, kind of thing. Like I'm gonna show him, like I'm the alpha, But
he knows that Ryan is in contact with Butcher, or would be. So if he drives Ryan back to Butcher, even if Ryan is battered and broken, is he just banking on he's not going to want to take an ass kicking like that twice kind of thing, or what? Because leaving him alive, but really beaten, it seems, I don't know. I wonder if there's like a trap element to it.
To me, it just seemed like just an obstacle that he needed to literally put down. And then that way Ryan knows, because I think Ryan's always been like, you don't think, because he even asked Billy, like, you don't think I can take him? And I think now he kind of just put those answers to rest, like, you can try and come and get me, but this is what's going to happen every time. And so I think Homelander's like, okay, check, like I don't need to kill him because he can't even take me, like it's fine. And maybe he's just going to not want to kill him because part of him knows that it's his kid, whatever. And I think it's like a message to Billy too, to be like, you thought you could use Ryan against me, but he literally can't fight against me, kind of thing. And I think he really is, with this V1 thing, he really is like, no one's going to stop me and I'm going to get it. And then Billy's going to die because he has the cancer. Like, I think he really doesn't think anything's going to stop him.
Well, he's got the entire Vought workforce solely focused on the V1. One way or another, that's enough manpower to figure it out. He thinks, anyway.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, so shifting over to Stan's bunker, I had sort of like the same reaction that Starlight did when she saw Huey trying to connect with Maverick. Like, bro, of all people, you probably just need to stay away from that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you? How did you feel when he kept reaching out to the kid?
I did feel like it was a bit weird, and I was like, oh, Huey, like something was going to happen. And then, yeah, it was funny when Starlight's like, hey, come here, I got to talk. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's kind of weird. But that's Huey, I think, like we were kind of wondering, like, has Huey changed or whatever? And I feel like he's always like, it's like he feels so bad, but like he also knows like he wanted to make it better in some way. But then I kind of bit him in the ass, literally. So I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know. But it always felt a little like too weird, where I was like, I don't know, something's going to happen with this. Like he's either going to find out or he already knows. So I knew there was something going on because it was a little too fishy.
Yeah. Speaking of fishy, both teams knowing where Stan's hideout was narratively a little fishy, because I think Stan would have been sort of secretive about that location, even if it was a Vought resource. I think it would be sort of off the books, but whatever. Both teams knew how to find it.
It almost makes it seem like for all these things that we're going through, it's like all these things have always been there, but if you're not actively looking for it, obviously you're not going to find it. And then all of a sudden, when you start digging, it seems like they're finding this, like they didn't really want to find Stan like actively, but then when they need to, they're like, okay, well, let's just go down the rabbit hole of like the Vought resource, so I feel like that's what it is. Also, like, maybe it's just like it's convenient for the story, but that's how I can kind of justify it in my mind. It's like there's so much stuff for them and they were only focusing on certain things, but then when they really like dig deep, and go through the, all their research, all the company records, then they're like, oh yeah, he might be here, or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I'll go along with that. Strange moment for the Deep to find a win, because you were bringing up how he might be on pretty thin ice, given that he can't seem to reel in any of the people he's supposed to be looking for.
But he didn't kill Noir, so I'm like, he's going to come back. Like,
yeah, maybe that's all leading up to some sort of showdown between those two guys. I don't know. Noir is, I guess we're supposed to call him Noir too.
Oh,
but,
okay. Yeah.
But he's a closed book, man. I have no idea what's going on with that guy, except for that he just doesn't really seem to be having to hang out with the Deep that much.
Yeah, so I think this might be whatever. If he's like a robo, I feel like he's going to not be happy about that. So he's probably going to be like, fuck this, and just maybe kill him.
Well, and Deep took off.
In the Tesla.
Yeah. But he took off, I think, before he could have even known the outcome in the bunker.
I know, I saw that. I was like, oh my God, either you're like just so... I think he was just focused on like, I'm going to go take this to Homelander.
Well, Stan's a big catch, and maybe he was thinking that the other soups would take care of the humans down below, but I bet not. I think it was just solely focused on, I have Stan right here, right now. I haven't had a win in years, so I'm just going to do this, and whatever, they can Uber back. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't think he really cared what happened to the other people, whether it was a win or not, because he was like, I got my win here, and I'm not going to, like, wait for them, and then it's going to be fucked up, so.
Maverick died. Cindy was that bald person's name, and they died. And then the other person, the one with the sense of smell, his name was Dognot, I think. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
He just seemed knocked out, right? He didn't seem... killed, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So at the end of all that, Starlight, it's like she reaches a breaking point where she has bore the weight of people dying or going through hardship in her name or by her association, and having Huey just one nanosecond away from getting popped by Cindy was just like too much. And so she flies off. But what is that actually going to do? Huey's going to keep doing what he thinks he needs to do. And now they just are down one of their superpowered members.
I get how she must feel. And like, it's just like, I mean, like, we think they're soups, but like they're, she is feeling all of the, she's gone through so much. And then this is like Huey. It also, I think it was a good moment though, because it did show like, she really does love him and care about him, and it's just like the way she's acting is because she just can't take the heartbreak, and literally like he almost died in front of her, and she was like, that was like, she was about to just break down and probably give up, and then I think it was just too much for her. But then I'm like, you're not going to protect him, like. And then you'll feel way worse if like she leaves and tries to like go and do this and then finds out like Huey died or something. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't know. But I think it's just one of those things where like it was such a shock for her. Like she literally thought he died for like a few seconds and then it wasn't. And I think maybe she'll come back. I think she'll come back. It's just, I feel like she needed to go and, I don't know, have a moment in the sky or something. But also it's not going to be good for her and Huey though in the long term, because I feel like, again, he's going to be like, you left me. Like, I can understand why she left him, and maybe he will too, but like they're supposed to be in it together. And I think if she just doesn't come back and tries to do her solo mission, I think that will affect him. I don't know if they'll be able to get through that.
The last pair of characters I want to chat about are Frenchie and Kimiko. Were you surprised at all when she said she wanted to have kids?
I was a little bit, because she's been through so much. You would think like maybe she wouldn't want to, but maybe because she was seeing, like the virus and other stuff. And I think her and Frenchie are really good, that she was like, if we do make it out of here, I just, like she said, I want to have a quiet life and like try to just have kids. But the way Frenchie, it felt very normal, like a very, in this like superhero element where like Frenchie's like, I don't know if I want kids. But it seems like he loves her so much where it was one of those things where, which I don't know if it's a good thing, but he was like, I feel like he would do it for her, which is not the best reason to have kids. But I was like, oh, like it seemed like he was. And then when he saw her petting the dog, and I think he was starting to imagine like, oh, if that was like a child, like this life. I think he's starting to kind of picture that life post, if they are successful.
Yeah, like adding even more emotional stakes to their relationship to make us want them to make it.
Which in TV terms is not good, because that means that they're not going to make it.
Right. Frenchie's reaction, a lot of guys either have never thought about kids or have believed that they don't want kids. And then I would say of those that are given the opportunity to have kids, a pretty large percentage decide to have kids, or at least used to. I don't know about today.
Yeah.
But it turns out, I believe that some of those guys that were like, no, I don't want kids, I think they were right.
Yes.
And they turn out to be not great dads, or resentful dads, or cheating dads, or, whatever the situation is. But it's not that it invalidates the existence of the kid at all, but it's just for that dad. Maybe he was right. And when Frenchie, given his background and all the
and
different...
said it with such conviction, like...
Yeah, like I have thought about it, and no, I don't. Whereas a lot of guys are like, well, I guess I've never really thought about it because it's never come up.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people sometimes don't realize, like, they don't think about it a lot, and they're like, I think I'll be fine, and then they don't, like, because they hadn't thought about it, fully thought about it.
Yeah, but it seems like he has. Like I don't know if it's that he, lives a dangerous life and can't even think about having kids around it, or he thinks he'd be a bad dad, or he knows he'd be a bad dad. I think he actually has potential for being a good dad, given that he is protective and he is affectionate with Kimiko. But I could definitely understand his reasons for thinking that actually kids would not be, not that they'd not be safe with him. It's just more like their upbringing with him as a parent might fuck them up.
Yeah. And also it's one of those, another thing that sometimes people don't think about is like, it's a thing of like, yeah, you could be a good, like, you could be like a lot of people who would be really great parents, but that doesn't mean, but if you don't feel it, like you shouldn't be it, like,
yeah.
So that's another thing I think sometimes people don't think about, or they think about, I don't know, that's just one of those things too. It's like, yeah, I think a lot of people would be great parents, but they don't want the kids. So, but I do think he, maybe like you said, he hadn't really, well, he had thought about it because he said it with like, oh, I don't want to do, and then it was only when he saw her reaction and realized like, oh, that means it was, again, it's one of those things where it's happened a lot where people are like, don't want to lose the person. So they go through with it and then it ends up coming back later, because they didn't really want it in the beginning.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But I guess in this case, like, I think maybe he'll change his mind just because it sounds so nice, like if they were even to get the opportunity to live like what she said, like, I just want to live a quiet life with 3 kids. And for him, I think that sounded so nice, given all the stuff that they've been through. So maybe I think it's more about that. Like maybe he still wouldn't want kids, but like, he's like, if we can even get to that point of that being a choice, that would be great. Because right now it's not, especially after what happened, the lab being blown up, I don't know, it's not looking great.
Yeah. Well, that moves us to the last character I want to talk about a little bit was Stan, He reemerges in this episode. He's been living with Zoe, his granddaughter, but he's also told her some lies.
Yeah.
And when she figures that out, she's gone. She finds Dad, and they're gone. I think they are gone. I don't think Samir and Zoe are going to reemerge in this story. I think their chapter is over.
Yeah, I think so too. And given the fact that we know that now there's this V1, like I feel like there's just no reason for him to come back.
No, it would be, I don't know, it'd be weird. Yeah, it would just be weird if they go and hunt him down and cut off his other foot and bring him over or whatever.
Yeah.
We did that. We did that.
Yeah, I think they were just there to kind of like, we needed Stan to come back, and then we needed the Samir part of it, and then but now and also to show, I think, like Kimiko and the Billy standoff, you know, when Billy was about to be like, you let them go, and then Frenchie was sort of like, hey, don't you dare, you know, sort of thing, and so kind of putting that tension between the team as well of like what they're willing to do.
This whole season, we've seen that it's not even an uneasy alliance. It's like you're only useful as long as you serve a purpose for, particularly Butcher. And once that's over, you know, I might kill you myself. It's like they're all in a Mexican standoff with each other, you know, whether physically or emotionally.
Which does make it fun as a viewer, because I'm like, I really don't know. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oof, you know, like they're fighting this kind of evil thing, you know, whatever. Even Billy, it was interesting to hear Billy talk to Ryan about that, where he's like, you know, I'm not the bad guy. And so he actually still thinks he's not like a bad guy, you know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Well, he made that gesture with his head and he goes, well, not really.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they're all like, which is great for like, I mean, it's the series finale, so I feel like everyone should be uneasy. Every episode should be where like it's on edge, especially in this show. So I don't know. I feel like that's good. It's all the cracks.
But with Stan back in Vought Tower and him knowing a lot of stuff that Homelander wants to know, but Stan not ever giving Homelander the amount of respect that Homelander thinks everyone should pay him. I wonder if Stan makes it, because he actually, I mean, his discussion with MM was like, you know, if I get back in control, then I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, finding whatever ways Vought can continue to grow, make money, do whatever that thing is. If it's not superheroes, it'll be the next evil thing.
Which is very telling.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's got something in store, like winding up back in the tower. It'll add some tension in his life, I'm sure, but maybe he has a plan already for what to do once he's there, or he's just sharp enough to outwit a Homelander in his manipulations. And without Zoe around, he doesn't really have those connections that Homelander would exploit, you know, like, I'll laser off her arms if you don't give me what I want. Well, she's not there, so he doesn't have those emotional ties.
Yeah, and I wonder if, because we know that he was lying, and if he was lying to Zoe and everyone else, so I'm just wondering if like there's other stuff that we don't know about that he knows about, you know, since he does know Vought, so, you know, he was Vought. So I wonder if he's gonna try to do his Edgar-y ways, you know, and try to be like, oh yeah, it's here, like V1's here, but knowing like something is there, you know, like that could throw him off or something. I don't know. I wonder, he's gonna have to play it in that way.
Maybe he knows that V1 and regular V are incompatible, or counteracting even. But you know, Homelander needs to be taken off the board, so letting him find it, that's fine.
Yeah, I do feel like it's something like that. That's the corporate-y thing, I think, that's gonna...
All right, so let's see. Looking forward, and any predictions? I think we were pretty close. Although we thought there would be the weaponizing, I didn't foresee that the virus would actually be kind of taken off the board. So I think a lot of our predictions didn't work exactly the way that we wanted. So maybe if we focus on specific things, like say everybody's got to find this Fort Harmony pretty quick, right? Everybody's going to end up there. And a fight will probably ensue. That's probably fair. Where do you think Annie went? And do you think she just needs a moment and will show up in the nick of time? Or do you think maybe she flew off to Fort Harmony herself? Because she saw it on the map, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe she does want to get a head start. And maybe when she susses it out and sees, you know, maybe she'll be like, okay, I need them. And and then like kind of because they're all heading there, so I think maybe she just wants to feel it out for, like, see how it goes, or just try to get it done without them and be like, and then they don't have to be put in danger. But I think it'd be silly for her to think like Huey's not going to be continued to be put in danger, especially if she were to get the V1 and then Homelander finds out. Like, Homelander would definitely go and get Huey to like Huey's always going to be in play because Homelander hates Starlight, so like he's gonna use him against her. So I just feel like she's trying to avoid the unavoidable. So I think she'll come back. I think they're gonna link up again. I don't think she'll be gone too long.
I wonder if Huey is that link that Ryan would need to join their effort in some way. I mean, he's clearly going to need recovery time, but he's probably never going to be able to trust Butcher. But Huey appeals to people on a completely different level than Butcher, He doesn't use threats.
Yeah.
And it seems like with this Maverick situation, Huey is looking to make, very human connections with hurt doves.
Yeah.
And Ryan will be that. I assume that Butcher's going to bring him back to the school to recover. So I'm kind of wondering if Huey isn't the way that Ryan finds his way into their plan, even if maybe he needs the rest of the season to recover. I don't know, but it's pretty good pounding.
Yeah, I don't know, but I also think Kimiko is that too. And given that the fact she just said she wants kids, I feel like that could also be because remember when when he was like Kimiko, like Ryan to her, and it sounded very like he was really happy to see her. So I feel like if Billy does take him back and Kimiko, I think Kimiko will also play a role in that of like trying to, nurse him back to health and sort of be that, now that she talks along with Huey, because I feel like they're going to be like, yeah, we're with Billy, but we're not with Billy, like on all the levels. And maybe she'll tell him that, Zoe left with with her dad, and like, so like he'll trust her in that more so in that way, and kind of just maybe rally behind them and not necessarily behind Butcher.
See, if they have Ryan, but they need to go find V1, and it doesn't make any sense to like put him in a van and bring him with.
Or like we can follow what they've been doing, and where like maybe there'll be a little bit of a jump where like it's enough jump where Ryan recovers, and then that won't be an issue. It seems like they've been doing that kind of time jump. But right. I don't know if they would wait that long though to go to because Homelander doesn't necessarily know where the fort is, right? But if Stan tells him though, so yeah, who knows? I don't know if this is. I would think it would move pretty fast and not like because the torture, like if he doesn't say where it is or whatever, it won't. It's not going to be that long. Like he wouldn't survive. So I feel like it is not going to be that big of a time jump.
Yeah, me neither. The square was blurred out for the base, but the surrounding area wasn't, so they know where to go. They don't know exactly what's going to find when they get there. But like you said, the Vought people will figure it out, whether it's from Stan directly or access to the same documents that Stan had in his bunker or whatever.
And who knows what we're going to find when we get there. Because it's going to be episode 4. There's 8 episodes. So if you think about it, they've been doing 8 episode shows sometimes do like a mid-season, a little bit of a fun, like a, what is it, cliffhanger-ish? It's not really a big cliffhanger, but something to like propel the rest of the season. Yeah. So I do feel like maybe they're going to go to find V1 at that place, but then they're going to maybe find, I don't know, maybe they would, Vought's not still alive, right? But like, I wonder if it's going to be some weird like thing like that, or maybe another one of the V1 generation that we don't know about. I don't think it's going to be that easy for them to just find V1 on episode 4.
That'd be a cool twist if one of those other V1 soups was still kicking around, like sort of like the last night in the Last Crusade, Indiana Jones, the guy that waiting there to guard the cups.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a guy waiting, or a person waiting for that same kind of thing. That's interesting. We'll put a pin in that one, see if there's someone waiting at the side for them. But I think that's going to do it for episode 3. Thanks for joining me again for this podcast, Kat.
Of course, it's fun and we'll see how it goes.
Exactly. If you like this podcast, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to it on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a 5-star rating and leave a review, and we'll read it. If it's nice, complimentary, we'll read it. If it's constructive criticism, we'll just process that internally.
Pod Clubhouse.